she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
And you would think, ABC having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit.
Karoline Leavitt just exposed The View. Watch how she calls out their false claims and leaves them scrambling for a response.
Yesterday, the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, gave her very first press conference where she announced that they're adding extra seats to the briefing room. Take a look.
It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025.
She is shaking things up by letting independent media back in and giving press passes to those who lost them. But the hosts of The View found it insulting.
We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. This seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat.
And you just know Whoopi had to say something.
I have a question, which is why I was leading us in this direction.
Yeah.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
This is exactly the hypocrisy The View is known for. They claim to support strong, independent women, yet they dismiss Karoline's achievements and act like she didn't earn her spot.
Women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
She went on to blame it on racism.
Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world. So please stop using that phrase and talking about because you don't understand what you're saying.
People are tired of the term woke. They have seen what it's done to schools, workplaces, and the media, and they are not buying into the agenda. But The View hosts keep pushing it.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whatever I'm saying, this is the first time that she's been she may be. But my point is that job would not maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted
us.
to clarify that.
Yeah. That was a cheap shot from Joy Behar. They reduced a woman's success to her looks. Joy always claims to be all about feminism, but the second it is a conservative woman, all that goes out the window. Karoline earned this position. She even worked in the Trump administration before. But instead of acknowledging that, Joy made it about Trump's taste in women. Karoline, on the other hand, responded with maturity and class.
And you would think, ABC having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not.
The secondhand embarrassment is real. You would think the hosts would learn by now.
That Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show.
This is like the time they swore Trump colluded with Russia, or when they freaked out over the Hunter Biden laptop story, only for it to be true. They never admit they were wrong. They just move on to the next wrong thing to say.
And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American people.
Imagine writing a $15 million check and still making the same mistakes that got you there in the first place.
I've been facing the media now, speaking on behalf of President Trump on the campaign trail for the past couple of years, and we are expecting the media to be hostile. However, Kaylee, if you do talk to a lot of these reporters off the record, they will tell you they look forward to more press transparency and access. And while we will expose the fake news when they are fake, we will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump.
The media has always been against Trump, and now they are going after Karoline as his press secretary. One obvious moment was when she called out CNN's biased coverage, and they shut her down.
Well, first of all, it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently, frequently likened President Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good. So good.
And of course, The View wasted no time mocking her.
In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you-know-who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you?
The media's favorite strategy is to mock anyone who calls out their bias. Instead of addressing the real issue, the hosts laugh off the idea that CNN could be unfair.
When you have guests on air, and it doesn't always have to be as heated, it could be completely irrelevant, and you'll see producers going, wrap it up, like you're here for a topic. She was brought on to discuss debate prep for the presidential debates on Thursday. When you start to veer into other things, anyone's gonna get cut off. That's just how it works.
This basically means they decide what topics are allowed. If a conservative makes a strong point, it's off topic and gets cut short. But when they rant about Trump or conservatives, there is suddenly all the time in the world.
Karoline, I read this report from Media Research Center that there's been 96% negative coverage from the broadcast networks of Trump's cabinet picks, and yet polling shows a majority of Americans support them. You'd think after Trump got more popular raw vote count than any Republican in the history of presidential politics, won the popular vote, that there would be some press that's eating crow right now.
This is what nobody talks about. The media thrives on negative stories about Trump, but the numbers don't lie.
In any of your conversations, do you get a sense that reporters are stepping back and saying, look, he's doing something right, and maybe we need to reassess how we look at this presidency?
I do think a lot of members of the legacy media are realizing that. I thought that was evident at the press conference at Mar-a-Lago this past week, where the questions truly were focused on the issues of the day. And
she has a point. People are struggling, but the media focuses on the wrong things.
there are a lot of problems plaguing our country and the American people right now. We are still entangled in a war in Ukraine. The Middle East is chaotic. We have inflation that's still robbing the American people of their hard-earned paychecks. We have a border that continues to be a mess. We have hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrant criminals roaming free in our country.
She also pointed out a smart strategy that Trump used to win the White House.
And President Trump ran in an untraditional media lane on the campaign trail. It's a big part of the reason he won, because he sat down with podcasters and social influencers and new voices that the American people are clearly listening to. And as President Trump's press secretary, we're going to find new ways to bring those voices into the briefing room as well, which I think will be a very effective way to continue to get the president's message out to the American people. Clearly, he did it on the campaign trail. We will continue that.
This is one of the many times where The View gets called out for its double standards. If they focused more on real discussions and less on shutting down opposing voices, they might actually have a good show that is worth watching.